to Fred Achando Analysis, ladies and gentlemen. I hope this video finds you well wherever you are. I just want to know where you are watching us from. If you are in Kenya, which county? And if you are outside Kenya, which country are you in? Tusalimiane kwa hewa. I found out a very interesting article that I thought we should share together. It is touching on my country, Kenya, and South Africa. And at the center of whatever I want to talk about are two gentlemen, Raila Odinga of the Azimio leadership and Julius Malema of EFF. The reason why anytime I find an article about Malema, I get interested. This is one man I admire. I admire the passion with which he plays his politics. I admire the way he criticizes the government. Because I'm one person who believes that any government must be checkmate. But the other side of Malema that I have always talked about here, for those who follow this channel, is that I took issues with Julius Malema after the Kenyan August polls, when Malema criticized Raila Odinga and urged him to retire from politics after the IEBC, the Independent Electoral Commission of Kenya, the body that is mandated to manage our elections, declared Ruto as the president. The case went to court at our apex court, also declared William Samoei Ruto. So Julius Malema, even without looking at the nitty-gritties of our country, decided to urge Raila to quit politics, and this is something that has rubbed in the wrong way with the Raila Odinga supporters. But aluta continua, because the fight for justice in South Africa and in Kenya continues. So Raila Odinga has been criticizing the government, and he is piling pressure on William Samoei Ruto to quit office or to ensure that all the promises that he gave to Kenyans are met. Among them is lowering the cost of living, fight for electoral justice, and many other things. And Raila set 20th of this month as the biggest day, the D-Day, after holding consultative meetings and mass actions in all the 47 counties. They will come to Nairobi, the capital city of Kenya, to have their mega mass demonstration, and some people say that they might march to State House. Now, I found out that there is a coincidence between the two countries, because Julius Malema has also set 20th of this month as the day when they are going to shut the country down. He's even saying that children will not go to school and business will come to a standstill. Just watch the video below and you understand what I'm talking about.
That we, wherever we are, in every corner of the country, we shall finally converge in Nairobi. Take note that on the 20th of March 2023, you have a date with destiny in Nairobi. I repeat, take note that on 20th March of 2023, we have a date with destiny in Nairobi. On that day, our supporters throughout the country shall stage a massive procession in Nairobi for a legitimate and inclusive government. Save that date. We thank you and let the action begin. The movement for the defense of democracy has now started.
Please be informed on the 20th of March there is no work, there is no school, everything stops, no truck will be moving. If there are taxi associations like here in the Cape Metro, by now you should have had meetings with them on how you are going to complement and support one another, because we are not fighting with the taxis. And those ones of metro buses, by now they should have been told that on the 20th, there is no bus that moves. South Africa must come to a standstill. We must challenge white monopoly capital, and we must show them that we don't need a permission from the Rupert, from the Minel, from the Oppenheimers. We don't need a permission from the ANC and from Mbalula, who says no, people must go to school and children must go to work. We are not going to any school, and there are no children who are going to any work here. So it is going to come to a standstill, and that's when the EFF is going to show the mass power, and the Western Cape cannot be a failure. You are not going to fail. And remember, we are not going to start at 8 o'clock in the morning. 12 o'clock start, the 20th starts at 12 midnight. The preparations must be made from 12 midnight. By the time the people wake up, everything is happening. They are able to take pictures and send to their bosses. Sorry. It's not going to happen today. Today is not happening. So fighters, the militancy and the protest movement character of the EFF, the fearless character of the EFF, the ground forces of the EFF, your determination to liberate the people of South Africa is going to be seen on the 20th of March when you bring South Africa to a standstill. Thank you very much.
If you watch this video very well, you will realize that Kenya and South Africa, and I even believe that the whole of Africa, is still grappling with one big problem: neo-colonialism. When the Africans stood up and fought the colonial powers and we gained independence, we thought we would start self-rule. But the colonial masters have come back through the back door. They are capturing our leaders. They are supporting leaders who will dance to their tune and elect them into offices. Now, I'm glad that Julius Malema is still trying to stand up against the white militant rule in South Africa, because to the best of my knowledge, South Africa is supposed to be independent. Now, I understand that in some states in South Africa, a black man cannot set foot. You know, it is very painful to me that the white man still think that the black man is a baboon, or we are some ape that are still evolving. But I wanted to say this to Julius Malema. When we told him that we've got a feeling that the August elections was rigged courtesy of the white man, he never understood us. Now he's feeling the same pain, because in South Africa, they are living with those white men, and those white men still carry themselves as if they are in, United Kingdom. And Malema feels vexed. We in Kenya are not being faced with this direct confrontation. But what they have done, Europe and the West have decided to influence, capture the IEBC, capture our apex courts, and they have decided to give us a president who is their puppet. And if you think I'm lying, ask the Kenyan judiciary to open the servers, and you know what I'm talking about. In fact, immediately our president took oath of office, he lifted the ban of GMO, genetically modified organizations, because this was one of the agreements with the West. And recently, we saw an introduction of the LGBTQ through our courts. And this makes me believe that this is the white man speaking indirectly. Malema should understand that he is an opposition leader, and the way he carries himself, the West is looking at him. One day he will want to be the president of South Africa, and the way he is fighting the whites, the way he wants Africans to unite, the way he carries himself as a pan-Africanist, the whites will never allow him to rule South Africa. The same fate that Raila is facing today will be his. He will one day taste the bitter powers of the West. And this is the reason why, if you followed my channel, I keep on cautioning Malema or any other African leader that they should not poke their nose into their neighbors' businesses unless they understand exactly the nitty-gritties. Unless they can articulate them well, they should not. I also want to caution Africa that the West and the white man is using the divide and rule tactics so that they will not speak together, because they understand very well that when Africa unites together, they will negotiate as a team. The climatic problems that have always bedeviled Africa, every now and then they go for the climate summits in Europe and where, but there is nothing tangible that is being talked about. The resolutions that are passed are not implemented. Why? Africa cannot speak as a team. The day Africa will start speaking as a team, then they will gang up against electoral malpractice, and they will not have fake presidents who have been manufactured. And when they do this, they will have credible presidents. The opposition leaders in Africa will not have a hard time. The day Africans will wake up and vote, and their votes will count, there will not be any problem. But this can only happen when Africans unite together against electoral malpractice. Recently, the AU terminated the contract of Raila Odinga as the AU High Representative for Infrastructure because he was piling pressure on William Samoei Ruto. These Africans will always unite together against an illegality, and Malema should be very careful. The day Africa will unite together, we will have one currency, and so we will not be talking about the dollar and the euro, because currently, as we speak, the international transactions are done using the euro and the dollar. And the West understand very well that we cannot unite. They can't allow us to unite, because when we have our own currency, their currency will be weakened. And this is something they do not. In fact, even as we speak, they will be using Africans against Africans. When you are stubborn and obstinate, they will use your neighbor to eliminate you. Today there are questions on how John Garang, the late John Garang, was eliminated. We do not know. I can't stand in a court of justice to prove this. But there are questions surrounding his death, because one day I heard his wife, Rebecca Nyandeng, if I'm not wrong, questioning the manner in which the father of their family, the head of their family, was eliminated under circumstances that she cannot understand. So, ladies and gentlemen, on 20th, Malema will be leading demonstrations in South Africa. Raila Odinga will be leading demonstrations in Kenya. What does it tell you? It tells you that we still have problems that we have not overcome. Because when our founding fathers came together, in Kenya, the first president, Jomo Kenyatta; in South Africa, Nelson Mandela; in Tanzania, Julius Kambarage Nyerere. They wanted to fight poverty, disease, and ignorance. These are still problems that face us head on. And this is why you can see Malema still struggling to hold demonstrations. Raila is still struggling to hold demonstrations. And I just wanted to caution our African leaders, wherever they are. Stand up for your rights, but don't criticize your fellow if you don't know what they are going through. And on this, Malema realizes that they have shared fate with Raila Odinga. I'm waiting for the day Malema will contest to be the president of South Africa under the watch of the white man, that is the day he will realize that what we are going through as Kenyans are the same things that they are going through as South Africa. The last thing is that he must spend time to talk to his people, because our common, the ordinary man, has been brainwashed. Today in Kenya, there are people who go without food. There are people who are unemployed. The cost of education is very high. There are no medicine in our hospitals. But when they hear Raila criticizing the situation and pushing and piling pressure to William Samoei Ruto, they support William Ruto because they feel that Raila Odinga is blatantly fighting William Samoei Ruto, not knowing that Raila has got everything at his fingertips. He can take his grandchildren to the best schools in the world. He can afford any meal that he wants. Yet he's fighting for the rights of the common man. He's fighting for the justice of the common man because he understands too well that we have come from far. Some people died so that the democratic space could expand because it was bad during the one-party state. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm watching very closely what is happening between South Africa and Kenya. I'm watching very closely what is happening between Malema and Raila Odinga. Hopefully, they will succeed in their quest for electoral justice, in their quest for everything for the common mwananchi. And I wish them all the best. And that is my take.